John Bachman, his wife, and their two children took an afternoon walk to their favorite spot in June 10th of 1883 in Pottsville of Pennsylvania. They left their 4-month-old son in a crib inside their unlocked home. The house was in a rural area. It was left protected by the family guard dog. The family was gone just for a few minutes when the dog started howling in a way that made the family very uncomfortable. They rushed back to the house and saw their son was missing, but all of their valuables in the house was untouched. The family searched through the night but couldn't find the boy. The next day they went to sheriff and asked for assistance. They never found the boy. The Glass family with their 4-year-old son James headed for a summer cottage just outside of Greeley, Pennsylvania in May of 1915. One day, James followed his mother to a post office 300 feet from their summer residence. It was an easy walk. Mr. Glass watched the two from the house as they left. Mrs. Glass reached the post office and deposited the letter. When she turned back to check on James, he was gone. She immediately searched the area and ran back to inform her husband. After half an hour, the whole neighborhood was looking for James, and a little while later, police was involved. The searchers didn't have any luck with finding any leads. The father of Jamie stated he believed his son was abducted, as there was no way he could be lost that fast without someone taking him. The next few years, the Glass family continued their search for James. They were getting calls from across the country that people have found kids that look like James, but they all didn't amount to anything. 8 years after James disappeared, a hunter was in the wilds of Pike County and found a small skeleton in the middle of a swamp among a thorn thicket 2 miles from the summer residence the Glass family was staying when Jamie went missing. One shoe was found beside the body, which was identified as Jamie's shoe. Many law enforcement stated the boy had to be abducted to be where he was found. There was no way he could walk to that location by himself. They only found a small buckle, a few bones, a shoe that was found at the location where Jimmy was found. Nobody ever found out what happened to the 4-year-old Jimmy in May of 1915. On October 17, 1917, the Gately family was enjoying their time in Brighton, Massachusetts. They had 2 children, Edward with 2 years old and a younger one which couldn't walk yet. At 10:30 a.m., the mother put Edward in the yard with his apple and went back to the house to take care of the younger child. She told Edward to stay put on the stairs until she comes back. Edward was wearing a large overcoat, diaper gaiters, pants and shoes that were tightly tied to his feet. Mrs. Gately was back just minutes later and found out Edward was gone. She immediately started yelling for the boy and searched the surrounding area, but she didn't find him. After that, she called the police and a search was started. The Gately residence was in a rural area and had lots of abandoned or vacant houses that was searched during the process with no results. At midnight, a thunderstorm hit the area and wiped out all the tracks of the boy that might have existed. They brought in more police to the area to help with the search. At 6:30 a.m., Sergeant J. Muldoon was searching the outskirts around the vacant houses which had lots of thick vegetations around and heard Edward calling for his mom. Edward was naked and his skin was turning blue because of exposure. All of his clothing, the overcoat, hat, underwear, shoes and everything was close by, just a few feet away from the boy. They were wet from the thunderstorm that hit the area earlier. Edward was delirious at the time they found him, and they took him to a hospital which he stayed for 2 days. When they took the clothes to the parents, they stated there was no way he could dress himself or remove his own clothing. The family demanded an investigation because they felt the kid was abducted. The area they found the boy was completely searched just the night before, and there was no sign of him at that time. And there were no mentions of molestation of the boy. Nobody ever found out how Edward was lost in Brighton of Massachusetts.